My name is Cindy Connors, and I'm the Computer Science Enrollment Manager in the EECS department. Each fall, I speak to many incoming students who have the same questions. So this year, I've answered the 5 most commonly asked questions and put it into a video format for you to watch. First question, where do I get information about computer science classes? Well, the best place to get information for all of the CS and EECS classes is to check the EECS 101 section of piazza.com. As a department, this is the primary way that we communicate with students regarding classes and requirements. The account is free, and once you sign up and say you're part of UC Berkeley, you're going to need to subscribe to EECS 101 as well. Both the advisors and the enrollment managers post information here, and you can see that on the left side of the screen where we're posting. There's also a search box at the top of that column, so if you're looking for a particular class, you can just do a search for it and see who's posted regarding that. Another nice feature about Piazza is you can post your own questions. And yes, this is a monitored board, but your peers can answer your questions. So if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you just are really curious about CS 160, then you can post it, and who knows, maybe some of your peers are awake at 2 a.m. and can answer your question, so you don't have to wait until the advisors come back to their office. This is a good one. Why was I waitlisted when I can see open seats for the class? I get asked this question all the time. As you select your classes, it's always a good idea to go out to classes.berkeley.edu and check the actual detailed information for the class. In addition to being able to see instructor information and meeting times, you're also going to see a class description. You can then also see the location, how many units of classes, that sort of information. Notice under current enrollment, you're going to see how many total open seats there are, how many seats are currently enrolled, how long is the wait list, and then in that same block, you're going to also see, are there any seats being reserved for specific student populations? And this gets into reserved seating capacity. So during phases 1 and 2, we set aside seats for, usually it's our declared majors, to give them a chance to get into the class so that they can graduate on time. Now, if you're an incoming student and this is a lower division class, it doesn't apply to you quite so much. We do still have some reserved seat capacities for incoming students, but you'll see it listed here at classes.berkeley.edu. Also, if you want to know more about what are these student populations that we hold seats for, you can go to the eeks.berkeley.edu website and do a search for getting into CS classes. And that's where you'll be able to see this chart, and then you can study it at your own leisure. These are our enrollment guidelines, and it's very clear by phase. And so oftentimes I'll have students who are either undeclared ask, well, why can't I just enroll? As you can see, you might have to wait for the adjustment period. Or I've had students who are declared majors in other departments say, why can't I just enroll? Well, again, those students also have to wait until the adjustment period begins. Okay, question 3. Why can't I enroll into the section I want for a class? I often get this question from students who are not familiar with the 999 sections that we use in the EECS department. So many computer science classes use these 999 placeholder sections to allow students to focus on getting into the class instead of having to worry about the seating capacity within the related discussion or lab section for a class. And other departments don't do that. So in other departments on campus, if you want to be enrolled into the entire class, the lecture, you also have to pick a correct section that has seats available. And what we have found is that a lot of students don't understand that if they pick a discussion section that works for their schedule but has no seats available, that the enrollment system will still put them on the wait list even if there are seats available at the class lecture level. So To avoid the stress and confusion for that, we created these 999 sections. So notice that for 999 sections, there's no assigned location for these sections. And if you're looking in CalCentral, or I think even in classes.berkeley.edu, you're going to see that the scheduled day is usually Sunday around midnight for approximately 1 minute for each one of these sections. Okay, don't worry about the fact that you cannot sign up for any of the other sections. And we allow the other sections to still be displayed on classes.berkeley.edu and in CalCentral for planning purposes for you. And so what will happen then is usually it's the week before classes start or even the first week of class, teaching staff for the particular class that you're enrolled in will reach out to you and give you some other method for indicating which section you actually want to be enrolled in. And that really varies from class to class. Some classes don't care which other section you attend. Go to whichever discussion section has an open seat. Some classes do care about that, and for those classes, the teaching staff often will email all the enrolled students and say, here's a link to a web app, please go in there and make your selections, and then they do the assignment to the actual section outside of the enrollment system, outside of CalCentral. Question 4, are time conflicts allowed for a class? Well, really, there's no simple answer to that question. Although the enrollment system can allow time conflicts to take place, each department really has its own policy about whether they're allowed or not. So be aware that for computer science, during the spring and fall semesters, most of our classes will allow time conflicts. However, sometimes individual instructors for a class will come and say, oh, I do not want to allow time conflicts. So the best place for you to go to find out if a time conflict is allowed for computer science class or not is to go out to the EECS 101 section on piazza.com. And at the beginning of each semester, I post a document out there where I give some general enrollment rules for every class that's open. And you'll be able to see there if time conflicts are allowed or not. Also, keep in mind that just because the enrollment system will allow time conflicts, it's still your responsibility to discuss your plans with the instructors for both classes, which translates to just because the enrollment system allows it does not mean that the faculty is okay with the idea of it. Faculty is under no obligation to make any accommodations to you for conflicting finals or project deadlines. So that's why it's always good to speak with them anyway. And then the last note I have about this is that even though the system might be set to allow time conflicts, it seems like every semester I have a handful of students who may still have problems. The system kicks up a message that says there's a time conflict and they can't enroll. If that happens to you and you've gone out to the EECS 101 section and you see that yes, the class should allow time conflicts, but you can't get into the class because of a time conflict, please send an email to cs-enrollments@cs.berkeley.edu. I manage that email alias, and so I will be sure, if you include your SID number, I will do my best to help you figure out what's happening with your time conflict enrollment. Whom do I speak to if I have questions? If you can't find the answer to your question in the EECS 101 section of Piazza and you need to speak to someone in person, the advising staff for computer science is located in Soda 349 as well as Corey 205. So the advisors are available by appointment only, and you can go onto CalCentral to find where to make an appointment with one of the advisors. Each Wednesday they do hold drop-in hours, so that would be a good time to come by either Corey 205 or Soda 349. And in general, they can help you with questions on how do you declare the major or the minor, if you need to have a form signed, get approval for something. They're good about answering questions about credit transfers. They also can provide advice about the sequence of taking required classes if you're planning to declare. And don't feel like you're limited to just this. They're really amazing human beings who are helpful in many, many other ways. So if you just need someone to talk to because you're stressed out or you don't understand what's happening, they're very good for that as well. One final note I have is if you do have questions about EECS classes, electrical engineering classes, you would need to go over to Corey 205 and talk to some of the EECS advisors over there. Just like the CS advisors, you need to make an appointment with them if it's not Wednesday to go and talk to them. And if you are an incoming student, you have a question about the data science major, you should go over to Evans Hall. That's where the data science advisors are located. The CS Enrollment Manager is located in SOTA 379. That's me. And I'm available Monday through Friday from 1 until 4 p.m. during the first 5 weeks of each semester. So you don't need to make an appointment to come in and see me. I have drop-in hours every day of the week, but only in the afternoons for the first 5 weeks of the semester. And I can help you with things like you have a problem enrolling into a specific class, you're stuck on the wait list, there's a time conflict. I can help you with things like that. If you are having questions about electrical engineering classes, then you need to go over to Corey 205 and you can talk to Myra. She is the EE Enrollment Manager over there, and she can answer the same sorts of questions for you. This concludes the orientation video on commonly asked questions about getting into computer science classes. Thanks for watching.